Hi, hello friends. Hope you are fine. Uh, I'm astrologer Asroj. Do subscribe the channel and share the videos as much as possible, and enjoy the unique content on Vedic astrology. Get free and a unique access to the content on Vedic astrology, and I hope that you'll enjoy the video and you'll see the difference. Uh, so far as the podcast on Ketu's impact in life is concerned. So let us begin. The placement of Ketu in the first house. Before discussing the place results of Ketu in the first house of this Lagna, let us talk about the impact of Ketu in general and the nature of the Ketu in general. So far as Rahu and Ketu is concerned, in this case, both the nodes, they are considered as malefic in Vedic astrology, and it's recommended not to wear the gemstone for Ketu. It's not recommended at all, and it's dangerous for all the ascendants. And the problem that is received by the natives, that happens to the natives, that depends, the extent of the problem that is received by the natives, that depends depending on the nature of the chart. Now Ketu in this case is in the first house. It's one of the houses of Kendra. It's one of the Kendra houses. When Ketu is placed in the 6th house, 8th house, or 12th house, its impact become more dangerous. It becomes what we call double malefic. And so far as Ketu is concerned, it does not give any fruitful result to any Lagna. In extremely exceptional cases, we can say that Ketu will give good results to the native in the Mahadasha or in the Antardasha. But it's extremely, the case of exception, the case of extreme exception. Usually we don't find such cases, and it's a fact what I am talking about Ketu. The way I am discussing things about Ketu, it's the reality. Now it depends. For example, if Ketu in this chart, if Ketu is aspected by, if Ketu is afflicted by the malefic planet, for example, if Ketu is afflicted by Jupiter, it will create more problems. And if Ketu is, for example, afflicted by Mars, it will create more problems, isn't it? If Mars is placed in the Lagna, it's placed in, for example, in the 5th house, and it aspects Ketu, it afflicts Ketu. It may afflict Ketu, isn't it? And it may not afflict Ketu. But my point is that when malefic planet afflicts Ketu, it creates more problems to the native. And so far as the transit influences are concerned, it depends the placement of Ketu and the extent of problem that the Ketu is creating in the first house, and the strength of Ketu, isn't it? The strength of Ketu in the Lagna, that is also quite important to analyze the impact of Ketu. And so far as the Lord of Ketu is concerned, its Lord in this case is no, it's not, it has not any Lord in this case. So this is the another point. Now Ketu's impact is quite important to note, and I have said that Ketu does not give fruitful results at all. It depends on the multiple factors. We can't say that it will destroy all the horoscopes and it will be problematic for all the horoscopes. Majorly we divide the impact of Ketu in two categories. We say that one category is that where we maintain that its impact is long lived. What we mean by long lived, that its impact will persist irrespective of its Mahadasha, irrespective of Antardasha of Ketu, irrespective of Dasha or Antardasha of Ketu. Its impact will persist. It's not important for the it's not important for Ketu to have its Antardasha. It's not important for Ketu to have its Mahadasha. And in this case we say that its impact is long lived. Now when it's a case of when it's the case of long-lived impact of Ketu, uh, we say that one of the impacts is that it's mental problems to the native. It creates critical mental problems to the native. His mind remains disturbed, isn't it? And there are setbacks, there are extreme setbacks in the marital life of the person. And it's quite important to have the remedies in such cases. And in few cases it may lead to lost progeny, isn't it? It will create impediments in the capacity of bearing children, if the capacity of conceiving a baby. And in that case it will depend on the strength of Mercury, in this case of Taurus ascendant. So far as the Taurus ascendant case is concerned, it will depend on the strength of Mercury, whether it will create any problem to the childbirth or not, isn't it? So it will also create problems to the native in terms of health, and he will be subject to fevers, he'll be subject to ulcers, multiple bowels, stomach disorders. And stomach disorders, it depends on the strength of other planets as well. Majorly it depends on the strength of Mercury in this case. And it will the native will face injuries, and he'll face setbacks in business partnerships, setbacks in marital life, and the native will not be able to control the impact of Ketu in this case. Most of the astrologers, they recommend cat's eye in this case. I request all the natives, please remove cat's eye. It never gives fruitful results, it never gives positive results. It's malefic in general for all the ascendants, and if for some time it gives positive, for example, in few cases, that few exceptional cases, it gives positive results to the native. There are quite few cases. In such cases, what we discuss, that we say that in the transit it creates dangerous problems, and the transit impact is what is unknown to the native. So in the transit and out of the transit, both they are against to the native, and he himself does not know that I am facing problems due to cat's eye. So that's why I recommend not to wear cat's eye. To any ascendant from Aries to the Pisces, it's recommended to remove cat's eye. Don't wear it. There are specific remedies, there are practical remedies that have result extremely. I have recommended remedies for Ketu to different ascendants depending the relative problems in their charts, and they have benefited a lot, isn't it? So it creates setbacks in the partnership, business partnership. It creates setbacks in the marital life of the people, of the natives, and most importantly, it creates problems in the general fortune as well. It creates problems in the foreign travel as well, isn't it? Depending on the strength of other planets as well in the chart. So in order to control Ketu and in order to know the relative influence of Ketu, I have said that long-lived impact, that does not require Antardasha, that does not require Mahadasha. The impact is operated irrespective of the Mahadasha or Antardasha of Ketu. And that is quite important, that's quite critical situation that's faced by most of the natives. And the irony is that they are wearing cat's eye. They are creating problems for them. They create problems from them, irrespective of instead of wearing cat's eye, they have to do the remedies for Ketu. And it's important to know the strength of other planets, the interrelationship of planets in the horoscope. That's quite important to analyze, and that's the job of the astrologer. That's the job of the astrologer, no one else. Another category of impact of Ketu is that it's not long-lived, it's short-lived. What we mean by short-lived? We mean that its impact is operated only, its impact is felt, its impact is pronounced only in its Antardasha or in its Mahadasha, isn't it? And out of Antardasha or Mahadasha, its impact was not felt. Its impact is not felt at all. So it depends on whether the impact of impact is long-lived or the impact is short-lived. If the impact is short-lived, it will depend whether what is the extent of that impact of Ketu. And if the impact is short-lived, what we call that, if the impact is short-lived, its impact will be felt by the native only in the Mahadasha or in the Antardasha of Ketu, not out of the Antardasha or the Mahadasha of Ketu. So this is the one thing. Another thing is that the transit situation, the transit placement of Ketu, and in transit it creates deadly problems to the native. It depends on the nature of the horoscope. The nature of the horoscope depends, and that implies what will be the problems that will be faced by the native, and the extent to which the native will face the problems due to transit Ketu. The birth chart Ketu, what we call birth Ketu, the natal Ketu, is having one nature, and the transit Ketu, for example, that has different nature. If Ketu is placed in the Aries in the transit, it will depend whether the Mars is in strength, the natal Mars is in strength, and to what extent the native is facing problems from Ketu in the transit. And the impact is from transit to transit, the impact is from transit to natal chart, and the impact may be from birth chart or natal chart to transit chart, and what we call triple transit. And the triple transit impact is one of the most critical impacts that is ever felt by a native, and that's quite challenging for all the people, irrespective of what will be the ascendant. It's same for all the ascendant so far as the triple transit is concerned. So there are different remedies that need to be followed in order to overcome the impact of Ketu in life. The remedies for Ketu are must, and once again I'll suggest you to remove cat's eye if you are wearing cat's eye, and do proper remedies for Ketu. And it depends on the relative strength of other planets as well in the horoscope, the inter relationship of planets in the horoscope. That's quite important to be analyzed by an astrologer. And this is all about the placement and the results of Ketu in the first house of Taurus ascendant. Thank you.